Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Getting away from all your troubles sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Do 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 do. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name. Do do do. And they're always glad you came. Do do do. You wanna be where yous can see. Troubles they're all the same. Yous wanna go where everybody knows your name. Dooby dooby doop doo. Bo scooby dooby doop doo. Hey, not everybody knows your name if you're on NXT this week, because I don't know who the hell those people were. Welcome to the hardest part of the ring. It is February 3rd, 2021, Hulu edition, the Hulu edition with limited commercial interruptions, sometimes not limited enough. My name is Bob. Thank you for joining me, Mark specifically, half my listeners. Hey, shout out to Boba Hicks, Mark Lennon, half my audience in Ireland. For YouTube deleted your comment, Mark. They deleted your comment. Apparently, you can say "fuck Shane Helms" into a microphone, and it'll air just fine. But you can't type out "fuck Shane Helms." So in honor of Mark's deleted YouTube comment by YouTube, certainly not by me, I will add an additional "fuck Shane Helms." How about that? Stand back, there's a hurricane of "fuck Shane Helms" is coming through, and everybody's getting wet. Alrighty then. What happened? This Tuesday was Groundhog Day. There's going to be 6 more weeks of nobody selling shit and too many flips. It's the hardest part of the ring. Let's talk about NXT. NXT. The thing is, WWE stands for World Wrestling Entertainment. AEW stands for All Elite Wrestling, and NXT stands for One Match Show. That's what was happening this week. A lot of tag teams. First, we open with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, and then there's a package of it's hyping up today's show, which I kind of like that better than just rehashing last week's show. Like the NXT packages are like, here's what's coming and why you should care about what's coming. So I appreciate that. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Coke Zero. Coke Zero, same great taste with zero calories. Now I'm not getting my Coca-Cola check. What the hell am I gonna do? That's all right. I'm an American. I'm used to not getting checks we were promised. Okie dokie. I'm scratching my balls. Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai season 3 available on Netflix. Dakota Kai teaming with Raquel Gonzalez to face Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter. Why are those their names? Change those. That's too many C sounds. And this match could have used a C-section because we need to get it the hell out of here. The faces were way too competitive with the heels going into this. I think this match showed one of the new hindrances of 2020, which no one's talking about because fans forget this. Wrestlers, and you can especially see it more so with NXT wrestlers, because they're obviously they're going to be a little less experienced, and more athletic and whatnot, and their stuff will require more cooperation, and that's another argument for another day, which we'll probably do next week anyway. But this match showed the lack of house shows or live events, if you want to be a dick about it. It showed what happens when there's less live events or no live events to practice in front of a crowd. And I imagine training at the PC is barely existent, if at all, lately, because they have this wrestling center set up. And I know there was a workout ring at the Royal Rumble. And I don't know what the hell that means. But still, I'm sure access to rings is not as easy as it was. I know the PC was a place, there were 7 rings. They always brag about the 7 rings, but I hope there's other rings they've been able to get into, but it seems like definitely the loss of live events shows in this match because there was a lot of stumbles and trying to have a more complicated match than they really should have been having. You can tell they're big on Casey Catanzaro. She's super athletic. She's very thin. She's a tiny girl, but her flippy doodah move is impressive, but I don't know.
I don't see it going much farther than that. I did like that Casey fired up at one point instead of just being happy baby face. I'm happy to be here. She fired up. She got a little passion. She showed some passion at the end. I like my baby faces with fire. That was good. I really thought though, because I got to imagine if it's not Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, and it's probably the Gargano team, Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. But I got to imagine Raquel Gonzalez is beating Io Shirai in the near future. Maybe Tony Storm. I was thinking too would be a good candidate for next women's champion, but I think with it seemed that way after War Games, Raquel pinned Io, no, but I don't know. But then they got sidetracked with Rhea again. After Rhea got sidetracked like 2 or 3 times to Raquel, then Raquel got sidetracked with Rhea, so they can't stay away from each other. But yeah, I thought this could have been shorter, and just the heels could just move on more decisively. And then it wasn't bad. It was long. This is a very tag team. Were there any singles matches on this show? I don't think so. I forgot. I watched it like a day ago. So the faces wore matching colors. I like that. They had like so just so if you're watching for the first time, you can tell who the hell is on what side. Yeah, it was a big flippity doo dah, and Dakota Kai was late on a save, so Raquel had to kick out the triple Lindy that Casey Catanzaro did off the top turnbuckle over there. And then Raquel hit the boob slam on Catanzaro. That's what it is. Why does she pick him up that way? Um, and the bad guys go over. I didn't hate it, but it's not my favorite. I give it 6,000 stars. 6,000 stars. Then we see this Phantasma guys package, and then we have the Lucha House Party versus the two heels that are associated with the guy who's the cruiserweight champion. This entire segment, the overly long match, and who showed up afterwards might have been my least favorite NXT segment ever. What happened? Remember the network NXT? Like when we all loved NXT. Once it hit USA, things started to fall. USA Network and then COVID. COVID. Everything just fell to shit with NXT. It's just not fun anymore. Well, the Luchas and the bad guy Luchas, I don't know. I'm not learning their names. I wish I had the sense to get up. I wish I had taken a grand metal leak during this match. I did it again. I always make the same joke. But yeah, because these guys took a grand metal leak on the wrestling business. Um, I don't think I appreciate all four of their efforts in their AEW tryout match, if that's what that was supposed to be. Holy crap! They did some they did some hot sloppy garbage in this match. There was a Frankensteiner off the buckles to the outside, and I don't care. That makes for a great highlight reel, yikes. Everything was ill-timed. Everything was sloppy. None of the strikes were hitting. Yeah, at least it was long. And after all this back and forth, with everybody doing like the the move where you bounce off the ropes, but you hold your opponent's hand like your left hand would hold their right hand, because you're gonna hop off with your feet. You're gonna climb the ropes and then twist and fall down, and you're still arm dragging them with your left arm. So your left hand joins their right hand. Sasha Banks does it a lot too, and way too much. But it's not as bad when she does it because there's other stuff in the match that's good. It was just so overdone here. On paper, this is a great idea, and then you watch it and you're like, let's burn the paper. Um, yeah, this is my least favorite NXT segment of all time. And why? Because they have the heels win all these flippy doodah, jumping here, jumping there, with sloppy crap in between. The heels win with just like some kind of a kick, of course, after all that. And then our friends MSK show up, the Midget Street Crew, Memorial Sloan Kettering, which is a cancer hospital in New York City, if you don't know, and appropriately named. So Memorial Sloan Kettering Cause some kind of gibberish promo with just fake guys trying to act cool, trying to be hip kids, and fawning over the trophy. And God, they're the least likable baby faces I've seen in years. Really, they're awful. I don't want my tag teams to be able to host a show on MTV2. Shut the fuck up. Memorial Sloan Kettering left me ill, and I must be in I must be in remission because Pete Dunne and Finn Balor show up. And Pete, I love Pete Dunne. I'm a big Pete Dunne fan. I was excited when he came over to NXT. Bloom's a little bit off the rose for our bruiserweight friend. Much as I can't stand Pat McAfee, that whole group needs him. And man, did Pete need him. Pete said one line, and Edge comes out to show everyone how wrestling works. I didn't even listen to the commentary much, and I don't think they said much anyway. Which, because of course Beth is married to Edge, and she's there, which they acknowledged, of course. Why wouldn't she? It was stupid not to. But Edge tells him he's not sure, but he reminds them both that they better keep their head on straight because he can come for either one of them. There was a strange moment where Pete Dunne does his shrug, like that's his pose, that's his move, which is kind of hilarious. I think it's unintentionally funny. Like, it's funny to me, but I don't think it's supposed to be. But Edge says something to Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne does the shrug, and Edge says, "Yeah, kid. I would have shrugged. I would have shrugged at me too 10 years ago. 10 years ago, only 10. Edge retired 10 years ago. Try 22 years ago, 23 years ago. I would have shrugged. That line would have worked. It was just I don't know, but yeah, he retired in 2011, in early April, late March, whenever Mania was. So yeah, we're coming up on 10 years of Edge retiring. So 10 years ago, he would have retired at himself as he shrugged. He would have shrugged himself as he retired. Hey, I'm tired. Kurt Stallion, we don't care about him anymore. Because he was an afterthought. He was there just to wrestle the Escobar guy so that the Scarlet could come out and my underwear moved again. And Karrion Kross got in Escobar's face. We still don't know why Karrion Kross and Scarlet have a problem with Escobar, but Escobar backs off, so Kross is the face here. I don't understand why they're mad at each other. Did they just draw the nothing to do feud? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't know what Kross is supposed to do with Escobar other than beat him in negative 4 seconds, which I'm going to give 4,000 stars. Yeah, Scarlet was interrupted. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I wrote some notes here. Oh, Edge runs. You see the even. Hold on. You see the Undisputed Era walking backstage, and then Edge says one thing, and then he gets stared down by Karrion Kross. So now Karrion Kross has a problem with the heel lucha guy no one cares about, who has a stable no one cares about, and then he has a stare down with the babyface legend everyone cares about. Huh. Okay. But it was again, it's the same way Edge did the handshake or whatever with Damian Priest. It was just giving a new face the time to be on the screen with Edge, so it was good. And we get to the only match on the show. There were no singles matches. We had, yeah, there were. There was Escobar and Stallion. I guess we'll count it. Oh, did Escobar win the match? Or did he lose it? I forget. I think he won it. He did his move, whatever his move may be, and stared down Scarlet when he won the thing or Kross or. I don't remember anything about it. I'm going to give it 301 stars. 301. Our next contest, scheduled for one fall. No entrances on Hulu. This was a long tag match, so you got Roddy and Cole versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, so they're the tag team now, and advancing a Dusty Cup. It was a great match, good wrestling. Both teams looked like they were trying to win. I think it was weird that the face or heel status of Ciampa and Thatcher isn't really well defined, and they're going against these now beloved baby faces, Roll and Cole and Roddy, who just have nothing to do. So it was kind of weird. Like, who would you get behind? I guess people would just cheer. Um, Ciampa, I love the gray and the beard. I love that him and Thatcher have this older, grizzled look and the theme of what they're doing. But I'm willing to bet he grew his balding head and the gray hairs out as to help the gimmick or the thing they were trying to accomplish. I don't know if that was a good idea. He looked a lot older, and he's kind of younger than me. I mean, I'm almost 21 years old, so wait just a minute. Ciampa. There's not much to say about the match. They went back and forth. They did the thing up top where the two wrestlers start in a tag match and they have their back and forth and they have their spots and no one really gets the upper hand. Then they both tag and then the other two wrestlers pair off. In most matches, I don't like that because it just looks like two singles matches and not a tag team match. With these four, they can do whatever the hell they want, and it's gonna be good. And whatever it worked, I guess. Yeah, it was weird for the non-established team of Thatcher and Ciampa to beat them, but whatever happens. So they did a finish, I guess, where Thatcher threw himself in the way and kind of they said took a bullet for Ciampa, but I missed what actually happened and I didn't rewind it, so I don't really know. So Thatcher showed some kind of loyalty and being somewhat of a better guy in the presence of Ciampa anyway, or at least he respects Tommaso Ciampa, which allowed Ciampa to grab Roddy after whatever the maneuver was and hit his DDT from the rope finish, which is really similar to Randy Orton's setup maneuver. But either way, you're DDTing a guy where his feet start off on a ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring. And Tommaso Ciampa gets the pin. And then they look at the trophies. The trophy for the Dusty Cup, the very Dusty Cup. Someone should wash it off before it's on TV. And the grizzled young veterans come out, and they're in suits, and the baby faces. I love this that Ciampa just while talking shit, Ciampa just hits the heel. He's done. He's not gonna stand there and let referees back him off. He's not gonna let one tiny referee back him off. And they start to brawl, and it was brief. That's it. We just need to give us a taste. I gotta imagine Ciampa and Thatcher go over the grizzled guys after this. I don't know who wins this thing. I don't know what the ultimate goal is. Maybe Tomas, because I was gonna say UE would be your obvious winner, but then again, you can't go with the obvious all the time. Sometimes the obvious is good. It's just a matter of how you get there, which is what we're watching for. It's like a horror movie. Well, this guy's going to the basement. He's going to die. We're not watching because we're wondering if the guy going to the basement's going to die. He's going to die. We're watching because we're wondering how and when. It's like Sheamus turning on Drew the other day. We all knew it was coming. The how and the when was the question. And that's okay. We all know somehow Luke Skywalker is going to figure out a way to blow up the Death Star. We don't know exactly how, but he's going to get there. So they got there. I have no idea what's going on next week. I think it's just more Dusty Cup matches, and they're doing a takeover on Valentine's Day. Which, I mean, how many of us NXT fans were going to be busy on Valentine's Day? So I will be reviewing that, which is a week and a half from now. That's my only. NXT has fallen, and the thing is, the only match that was worth watching. 3 of the 4 guys were main guys during the network era of NXT. Tommaso especially. I mean, geez, he was there from I don't know from the beginning. Because the beginning is like it had a little TV thing, and Seth and Big E were champions. I don't mean not that beginning, but the network beginning, the 2014 beginning. Tommaso was there, and Undisputed came in, and Roddy wasn't part of him yet. Roddy had already been there. He'd been there like a year or whatever it was. He'd like spent 6 months trying to beat Robert Roode and being too nice and getting beat up, and then he joined him. So 3 of the 4 of them were network era guys, and the other guy Thatcher wrestles just like him. Not just like him, but you know what I mean. He's got a more realistic style, like closer to them. So That says something. That lucha match was terrible. Ugh. Had to block it from my memory. I'd rather watch NBC programming. Oh, wait, we're going to have a chance to. Okay. Well, I thank you. I thank both my listeners. And fuck Shane Helms. See you next week.